just to get a chance to talk about just defensively, the positive that we did have, man. Our third down defense continues to operate the same way, being really dominant in my opinion. Obviously, there's some things we got to fix when it comes to our second down efficiency. Man, the big plays that we got to make sure we stop giving up. Those are things we got to make sure we fix. And each week, as I always say, man, those are some things that we try to make sure we hone in on. We try to make sure we practice those things. We try to make sure we get those things fixed. It's not more of a communication issue. You always will have a little bit of that when you have new guys coming in, but it's more or less of, man, younger guys executing and us as coaches putting them in the right position. So, and also, man, it's a sting to have one of our leaders go down. It's tough. But I would say this, man, this is the NFL, all right? And they're not going to stop games for us, so we just got to continue to move on. And I know that's a cliche, they saying next man up, but this is really how this league is. It's really a next man up league, and the next guy up just got to get ready to go, right? But I have total confidence in the guys that we have. I mean, you see how Charles Harris been doing a hell of a job for us. He's going to continue to do a hell of a job, right? And then the other guys got to get ready to step up also. So, open for questions.
One potential change, I guess, would be Jerry Jacobs in the secondary. What did you see from Jerry last week? And if he does get more playing time going forward, how ready are we?
Well, I would say this going into training camp, that's when we first start to notice what type of player he was. Listen, he's a young player. Obviously a free agent of ours, still needs a lot of work. But the only way to give those guys a chance to really see how they operate in game situations to give them a chance. And he had his chance last week, and he operated, very well. So between him and Bobby, both of those guys are going to play. Jerry is going to get a little bit more than he's been getting. But we have to see exactly what we have in these young players. So, again, as I said before, the only way you figure that out is just put them out there. It's going to be some mistakes, right, and we expect that. But, man, we're going to coach them up, right, and try to get them to operate as well as we can.
Apologize. Well, I was just may have addressed this at some point during training camp or whatever, but what was it that you liked about Jerry, during the pre-draft process, and what areas have you seen, I guess, the most growth?
Well, the first thing that jumped out to me is I always try to compare guys, all right? And when I looked at Jerry, body type-wise, he reminded me of Chauncey Gardner, a guy that I drafted in the fourth round in New Orleans, the body type. So he's around 205, and Chauncey's around 210. Same height, man, but ultra competitive. So at that point, man, I started to look at that. Okay, so let me see how this guy plays now. And I saw the same fight, the dog mentality in training camp that you see from Chauncey. So I don't want to say this guy is Chauncey, but there's a chance he can be trained and developed to be a nickel or outside corner, right, in our system to be able to operate like that.
Chauncey playing a lot of safety for you?
Chauncey played a little bit of safety, but he was more just a nickel for us. And we know how nickel is in this league now. I mean, nickel is a starter, right? So the thing about Chauncey is he played against 12 personnel, 11 personnel, 21 personnel because of the size factor. And you see that with Jerry. So there's a couple of opportunities for him to play corner, play nickel, and still get a special team reps also.
You brought up the big plays, the big pass plays. Fewer than maybe Baltimore, and it seemed like less communication-based errors. It seemed more physical errors in the Chicago game. Do you see positive developments there? It seems like that's probably the one thing that if you can fix that, it's going to be a big help for your defense going forward.
Man, I tell you what, I'm just saying that in general, and I'm going to elaborate on something a little bit further than that. Because if you look at us on third down, I think we're like second in the league in third down, all right? If you told me that we would be that at this point, there's no way in the world I would have thought we'd be 0-4 right now, seriously. So each week I continue to talk about, okay, keep chipping away, all right? And now just what you said, like those are things we've got to continue to chip away at, all right? We were good in run defense, and we took a step back against Chicago, right? So we got to get that back this week. But that's the one area, man, that we got to look at, and as coaches too, all right? How do we get these guys in situations to where they're not giving these big plays? All right, I was always told by Bill Parcells, how many times you got to get hit in the face with a skunk before you smell it? So And that's a true statement. So we have to do something also to be able to help these guys. And we have done some things now for the player and coach. Player got to execute. Coach got to put them in positions to where they can execute and be at their best.
And with the run defense, it seems like the interior's holding up its end of the bargain through the season. It's the edges.
Missed tackles.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, are you seeing scheme technique? What can you do to kind of fix or strengthen the edge setting?
Well, that comes down to our guys just making those tackles. And this league, and I think you guys know that, this league, the one thing that's missing in this league nowadays is the fact of tackling, because you don't get a chance to do it. So you don't just see it with us, you see it across the league, right, of missed tackles. So that's the one thing we try to hone in on in practice, and you only get so many opportunities to do it because of the way the practices are scheduled now. But we just got to continue to put ourselves in those positions to tackle. However we can do that. You know, dummy bags out there. Anytime we have pads on, right? Because that's another area that we got to chip away at. Yeah, those missed tackles, and other than that, just leaky yardage. Yeah, I don't like when we wrap guys up and they fall for 3. You know, they fall for 4. Right? That's another thing I said to our players. Right? We got to stop the leaky yardage. Meaning when we hit somebody, got to be a lot of pellets coming right behind it. Right? So we can get more knockback right when we're tackling. So we'll fix that. That's one that I'm not worried, because we have aggressive guys. All right, and just being able to see that on tape, and those guys understand exactly the things that we can't do. All right, we'll fix that. It's the explosive plays that we got to spend more time with as a coach and as players to execute and make sure we put them in position to stop that stuff.
Just back to what you were saying about Jerry and reminding you of Chauncey a little bit. Like, how often do you do that when you're looking at young players? Say, well, I really like this guy in my system, so can we find someone that looks like him? Do you try to make those one-to-one comparisons?
Well, I was taught that, you know, back in the day as far as comparisons. I think it helps you as far as what you're looking for, as far as building your roster, building your team, and actually what you want. You know, so again, when Jerry got here, right, his body type was the first thing I saw. Now, I mean, can he run? Is he tough? Is he mentally tough? Can he cover? So all those things, he started to answer those questions as camp went on. And again, once you see that, I mean, now you can start placing guys in positions to where you think they can help your defense, right? And he's one of the guys that, I mean, we're going to see what he can do, right? Like I said, he came out last week and he did a pretty good job, and now we're going to give him more time to see how he operates.
So outside, I mean, Chauncey's went inside, that's
Yeah.
something you saw. I mean, how was
Well,
Jerry-
Chauncey played outside too.
Okay. How was Jerry developed in that regard? Like, how have you seen him grow?
Well, we put him in a position where he's playing nickel and he's played outside. You know, so each week he has grown. I mean, definitely in training camp. That's one of the reasons he's made this team. I mean, you got to give kudos to Dan and Brad and those guys, because most of the times when free agents come in, they know that they're at the bottom of the barrel as far as making the team, man. That's just how they think for the most part, right? But the ones that understand and listen, I put my pads on just like everybody else, and I got just as good a shot as everybody else. And we tried to make sure we talked to our players about that. And for him to come in and make this team, and not just make it, but he's contributing for us, right? And possibly he can be a guy that's going to get a lot of playing time, you know. So we want to make sure that we do everything we can to help that player be successful.
Aaron, I believe, just had his best game. I think most
Yeah.
of us see that. But in that regard, it was very run defense centric. I don't know if that was by design. Are you trying to establish a base with him, where it's something he can be good at, and then build upon that and work into the pass rush?
Well, I would say this, just the way that I think about defensive football. My foundation as far as building a defense has always been inside first. All right, and it's not the sexy pick. It's not going to get all the media headlights, you know, when you pick guys like Aleem. But when you build it there and you have an understanding across the board of this is how we look first, right? This is what we're stopping first, because if we could do that, right, we could make teams one-dimensional. When you make them one-dimensional, okay, now it's time to go. And he has the ability to be able to transition from stop the run up to pass rush, all right? But we have to make sure that we build a foundation, man. This is who we have to be, right? And from the beginning, right, guys understand, and we have been pretty stout at that, right? If you look at as far as sacks are concerned, I think we have around 9-10 sacks, right, which is it's something in like the middle part of the league. And I think we're like maybe 2 from being in the top 10. So the plan is actually working exactly like I want it to work. It's just we need more, all right? And each week we're gonna get more from these guys, because they're starting to understand exactly what we need to.
And just to make sure I understand correct, that's not just a whole defense perspective, it's also an individual perspective too.
No doubt.
No
doubt.
doubt. Individually, on when you're building
No doubt.
that foundation.
No doubt, because we look at first down first, right? And what most teams do on first down. And we got to be stout on first down, because if we're stout on first down, we put them in second and long situations, man, advantage us now. Advantage us now, we can do the things that we do on third down, we can get after people, because that's one thing that we pride ourselves on, right? That's one thing that I love to do, is to be able to look at teams' protections and how can I attack your protection? I'm going to get after you, all right? And that's just, that's my baby. That's what I love to do.
You guys,
Couple more guys.
despite Bobby's had some struggles the last couple
Yeah.
of weeks, obviously, but you guys are very much in this corner, very.
No doubt.
Can you just explain a little bit why, like, what do you see in that makes you so confident that
You see
when
length.
he's gonna be?
Yeah, you see length, you see speed, you see mentality. In every corner, man, it's once you get beat, every corner has in the back of the mind, God, I don't want to get beat again, you know. But the thing about Bobby is he keeps coming back. You know, he keeps coming back. Man, he came in as a safety. So he's still a baby as far as learning how to play corner. And you know, you got to deal with the struggles, right? You can't be one of those guys that, when it's good, like last week, everyone was praising the guy. Now this week, you know, he's the worst thing since you know, a slice of bread. You know, and I understand, that's how the media operates. But man, we got to make sure with that player, keep showing him the good things he's done and keep trying to build on those good things. And man, you got to block out all the noise, because that's what it is, playing the corner position. I told you guys this maybe 2 weeks ago, all right, that he's going to have some ups and downs, all right? He had his downs, and that's just how it is, right? Every corner, well, not me, but I said that was a joke. Every corner has those issues, all right? And you just got to be able, absolutely, man, he has to. Just like those racehorses, man. I don't see anything else outside of me. The only thing I see is, man, I got to get better every day.
Does it remind you of anyone that you mentioned?
Marcus Coleman. Marcus Coleman, guy that I played with in New York and in Houston. Long, fast, has the ability to dominate, because you saw some reps in that game, man. When he get his hands on you, it's over. It's over. You know, so we just got to continue to show him that, man, this is what you can do, right? Yeah, they made some plays on you, but this is who you are, this is what you can do. So we want to make sure we build on that.
Is there a limit with young guys to just sort of balancing like the bad experience versus good experience? Like, is there a limit? Like, you can't give up this many bad plays. We can't keep having.
No, you can never give up that many bad plays, but it is teaching, all right? And it is a person that has never played the corner position, that came from a safety position. So there's patience involved in that also, all right? And you can't be quick to just jump off someone's bandwagon when something like that happens. It's our job as coaches to continue to help them, continue to coach them.
How do you know, just one last
That's
thing,
what they-
that, a lot of young corners, they do, especially first year, right? It's
Yeah.
struggling. We saw here with Derek Slade, Okuda obviously,
Yeah.
he looked a lot better, Cam. So how do you know when that guy, like, what is the point in saying, all right, I can see that year two is going to be so much better for him, right? I see this immense future versus this guy's not redeemable, for lack of a better word. You know what I mean?
The first thing,
Not specific
yeah.
about it.
The first thing you just said was, you said Okuda, and you said Slay. Two high draft pick guys who's been playing that position for the longest. So now you take somebody like Bobby, and I know you're not just talking specifically about Bobby, but you take somebody like Bobby that's never done it, and you see the success he's had already, right, in the amazing plays he's made. So I'm sticking with that guy, because he's done it as a guy that's never played the position, that has the confidence, that's going to go out there and play it, right? Understanding that, you know, some things can happen bad, but I don't care. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to continue to challenge. So give me that guy. Yeah, give me that guy all day, every day.